Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video. Hope you're doing well today. So we are on the test server having a look at the latest patches, the latest notes that came out with, came out today. So I will put these in the description below, the patch notes that have come out for obviously the test server. This is for the Joseph update, so Arena is out, all that sort of stuff. There is two timescales at the time zones at the moment that Arena can be tested. One is 18 to 20 UTC, the other one is 2 to 4 UTC. I wasn't actually around for the 18 to 21, so I'm going to try and record a couple of Arena matches at 2 to 4 UTC for you guys. Just to sort of give my opinion, it does seem very, very sort of queue up and just go. It's like a battleground in most other MMOs. But yeah, so looking over a couple of different things, added Arena's 5v5 combat can be accessed globally, which means you're out in Black Zone, whatever, you just want to queue up, you can probably just queue up if things are getting hairy. Looking at some of the rewards here just in the side while we're talking about the patch notes, there is a matchmaking algorithm is what they've called it. Sounds like a skill rating type thing, to stop people queuing against worse or better players. You kind of grouped against who you meant to be fighting. A full group will have 4 fighters, which consists of tanks and damage, and only 1 healer. Gear requirements for the arena are the same as a T4 expedition, i.e. average of 700 item power. However, I believe there is a soft cap at 850. Gear scaling will give players with weaker equipment a better chance to compete against players against better equipped opponents. So there is a real hard cap in there. It's not a hard cap, it's a soft cap that's just really punishing. Runestone mechanics, other things like that. I'm not going to go into arenas too much, just until I've actually tested them. I'm going to do a whole video on them soon. But yeah, they look pretty cool. Looking forward to actually getting into one and having a look, see what it's like. Destiny board added a feature toggleable in the top bar that can automatically spend LP for you when you reach the threshold to do so. So as you can see up here, auto use. As you can see, I also have 0 LP because I pressed this button and it spent 200 odd LP on everything, anything that was above 30% health, 30%, sorry, and could have LP used on it. So at the moment it doesn't look like, so if I wanted to use it on just this daggers, doesn't look like there's a way for me to do so. Looks like it just uses it on either everything or nothing. So hopefully that's going to get tidied up a little bit. Not really too happy with just it using it on every single thing that hits 30%. Expeditions. 2 new group expeditions have been added at T6. I'm actually trying to queue up to expeditions just so we can see one of them hopefully. One battling the undead, the other one pitted against the cultists and Morgana. So we've now got the druids, the undead and the Morgana. Should be pretty cool, but still T6 cap, which I don't really like. I'm kind of hoping by now we'd have like a T7 expedition maybe. World chest locations. So I was actually testing these earlier. Hourly chests now spawn at the treasure sites, which contain piles of silver as well as lootable new containers, some of which have interesting surprises in store. So when I was testing it earlier, there is, I'll actually show you what it looks like in a second. I'm just showing the card sword actually. Looks pretty cool. So obviously I do talk about it, I will talk about it in a little bit as well. Quick casting actually gets involved in this and in this patch, and it's awesome. It's such a good thing. So this is what relic chest looks like now. Treasure site. Looking at it, this is what it sort of looks like. It looks pretty cool. We can actually probably head over there and have a quick look. There's sort of 3 things there. So the silver that's kind of randomly on the floor seems a really low amount. You're not really going to be worrying too much about picking it up. There's little urns that you can break, which seem better, give a little bit more silver, but still whatever. Like, they have a pretty quick respawn time. You also then have sarcophagus. Or sarcophagi, is that the plural for that? I don't know. Which are killable mobs that scale to the zone you're in. So in Mardale, T6 zone will be a T6 sarcophagus. For example, in there you go, Well of the World, Tier 8 zone, Tier 8 sarcophagus. The Tier 8 ones were giving sort of 4k fame, and 27, 28k silver, so pretty decent amount. The main chest looks like it's just a normal hourly chest, nothing special. So just a normal artifact. So again, the only thing really that's worth doing with these, I think, and I'm obviously first impressions and all. Some of the, like this, these things can change. This is what the sarcophagus look like. Haunted sarcophagus. I'm going to just beat it up a little bit. They do have a couple of mechanics, but they aren't particularly hard. You're going to be able to solo them at pretty much any point in the game. And yeah, so you see, he just cast something on me there. It literally did no damage. This is the same mechanic as in like Hellgate bosses. Keep DPSing him down. There's a fair amount of health, but that's about it. And it does that little mechanic. So T6 gives sort of 6.5k silver, 1.7k fame. Not bad. The little pools of silver, 45 each. There's just not worth killing. And then you have these urns, which give slightly more. 300, 400. So it's not the worst silver in the world. I have a feeling, and this is something I'm really genuinely concerned about, that it could incite bots. In that you've now given them like a condensed area that they can farm silver in just all day long without being bothered. Obviously black zone better than red zone, but yeah, so a little bit concerned that that could potentially become a problem, but we'll have to see if that happens. Controls, added smartcast option. So I'll talk about this better than is probably described on there. There's 3 options now. So there's normal spellcast, which is what we had before. So that is you press the button and it obviously gives the area and you do the cast. It then has, there we go, on button press, which means as soon as you press that button down, it will cast towards where your mouse is. And then on button release, which means I can do this. So I can press the button down, I'm still pressing the button down, and as soon as I release the button, it'll go. Some people prefer either ones. A lot of people that have played like MOBAs before will probably be used to on button press. It just means for quicker reactions, and I found it to be awesome with Bloodletter. Makes Bloodletter just feel so much tidier and cleaner. Yeah, so enchantable potions. Added the ability to enchant potions of T4 plus using essences, which creates a potion 1 step higher. Minor to standard, standard to major, major to a new level of about the same step size. So this means that we're going to see just potions be even stronger than they are potentially with enchants. I was farming the essence areas, so again we've got one over here. No, sorry, there. Kindlegrass Step. Sepulchre of Magic. You've got one over here in Hill of Hollow Earth. I'm sure they're all around the place, but just an interesting note, these zones don't seem to have a tier 8 version. It seems to only go up to tier 6, and the tier 6 ones give anything from T4 to T6 essences from like 20 minutes of farming. That's what I've sort of noticed. Interesting to see. So yeah, I kind of like I like the fact that essences are coming back into the game. I'm a bit dubious about potions just because of how potions and dominant potions have been for a little while now. It kind of scares me a little bit to see that they're going to be increased in potency with obviously the top tiers being enchanted and whatever. It looks like the essences are going to be pretty hard to get for that though, so maybe it's just going to be that like that's a GVG thing at very most. You're not going to be just throwing them around all over the place. Improvements. Added separate options to auto reject trade and party invites. I mean, that's very simple. Added mob health bars. Awesome. If I can actually find a mob anywhere. In fact, let's go to the Hellgate. Yeah, if I can find a mob, the added health bars is awesome. In fact, there we go. We'll just hit this dude. So as soon as I get in combat with him, you get this health bar. Obviously, each block is 20%. It makes things like a Bloodletter. I actually got hit by that. I'm terrible. Just so much cleaner. It just makes it so clean. It's a nice little tidy UI, so I do really like that change. Improve the guild member list to be sortable by name, rank, and last online. I'm not actually in a guild on the test server, so I can't really show that. Mob chests. Added many new chest spawn locations for mob camps and dungeons. Improved visuals of faction-specific mob chests. Reduced respawn time from 2.5 hours to 15 minutes. This is being hotfixed onto live prior to Joseph. That's already onto the servers now. And reduced chest silver amounts by 25%. So chest spawn at 15 minutes per spawn and 25% less silver. So it means that silver through chests and urns and stuff like that is just going to be farmable a lot more. Pretty interesting concept, I suppose. Change the layout of Ashen Hellgates. I might have to go and have a look at that. I haven't actually seen that yet. Adjusted the layout of Ignited Infernal Hellgates, reducing the number of choke points. Didn't know about this. Definitely going to have to go and have a look at this, actually. Spike Demon's Cleave ability reduced by around 25%. Yeah, that's the big demon mobs, makes sense. The Overlord activates the Hellish Firebolt at a further distance. It travels slightly further. So that's really going to be just stay away from that situation, which is pretty cool, actually. I kind of like that people can't just be like pushing up. You're going to know them from further away. That's pretty nice. Remove the atmosphere and lighting. Each Hellgate now has a separate colour scheme. Sounds a little bit gimmicky, to be honest. Invulnerability on entering Hellgates has been increased from 10 seconds to 15 seconds. This was needed because your skills were still on cooldown when you came into a Hellgate after your bubble dropped, which meant that if you actually got ganked in that 1 or 2 seconds, or if you got attacked while you're on your bubble, they have like 1 or 2 seconds where they have skill advantage on you and can hit you. So I like that it's gone to 15 seconds. Still probably means that you're not going to be able to, unless everyone gets in really quickly, you're probably not going to be able to skip the mobs without taking some damage. But realistically, with the damage reduction onto the Spike Demon, it's not going to be a huge issue anyway. Made a number of layout mob improvements to Deepwood Enclave. I don't really know what that is. Improve the display of buffs in the UI. Buffs and debuffs have different colours. Your own spells are highlighted. Buff sorting order is improved. This is pretty cool, especially for someone like Curse. As you can see, they're flashing a little bit now. It's a little bit nicer UI layout, and that is important to consider. I don't really know what these paws are. This looks cool. Added a show only my damage / heal numbers option in settings, which hides all scrolling damage heal numbers on other players, mobs and things. That's pretty cool. What I am concerned about is that, so I haven't actually seen this, let's have a look. Only player related damage numbers. My issue with this is, can I see how much they're healing? Because I look at that sometimes to see what passives and stuff they've procced. So, I mean, it's a nice thing to have, and I might have a look into using it, but at the moment I'd probably stay away from it just because I'm not really sure what it's gonna actually cut off from them. Improved visual display of item quantity. Yeah, it's got a real big thing now. Gold, sort of silverish. The other one's like platinum, and then obviously masterpiece, gold, and so on. So, yeah, it looks pretty nice now. It's pretty obvious to tell which is which. Added trade and recruit as separate default chat tabs for new characters. So, yeah, you can obviously you could change that anyway. You could sort of make that setting, but it looks like obviously you can just have that anyway now on new players. It'll just be set that way, which is pretty cool. Made guild shields in GVG UI clickable. I'm kind of glad they did this. It's taken a while. It means that you can sort of do a little bit of research about the other guild. You can click on them, find out their basic stats on the sheet, which you would be able to do anyway just by inspecting one of them. But it just makes it easier. It's a quality of life change, and it is a real cool one. Added more locations for obtaining essences. As we were saying earlier, obviously essences are coming back in to be used with potions. I'm going to be doing a video on that soon as well. So there's more locations now that you can farm them. They don't seem particularly good for farming in terms of fame. However, just for the essences, they seem to be dropping the essences fairly commonly. Improve sounds and stuff like that. Ooh, changes. So, open world and Hellgate fame has been increased by about 10%, just flat, which is pretty cool. The following multipliers have been adjusted. Safe Zone / Ash and Hellgates have been changed from 1.25 multiplier to 1.35. So a bit of a small change there, but still it's going to be quite cool. Yellow Zone Ignited Hellgates 1.33 to 1.5, even smaller change there actually. Red Zone 2.25 to 2.5, and then Black Zone Infernal Hellgate 2.75 to 3.0 multiplier. So Black Zone Hellgates and just Black Zone in general should have pretty decent fame. Now obviously it's about a 10% increase for them in general, which should be pretty cool. Expeditions now have a gear cap dependent on tier, so it looks like it's the soft cap that people are seeing with other sort of areas, like the yellow zones have its own cap, the blue zones having its cap and that sort of thing. Looks like that's going to apply to expeditions based on the tier. Essence drop rates are balanced out, so T4 is up, T5 is about the same, T6 down, T7, T8 is improved. Existing essences have been renamed to Tier Faded Essence. These can only be used to transmute new essences at fairly low rates. This has been done because the old drop rates weren't balanced. Reduce the health and damage of all T4 expedition mobs by around 15% to easy experience for newer players. They're still looking at newer players. Added auto respawn in dungeons. Oh wow, actually, sorry, I missed one then. Fame farming in dungeons for small groups can easily turn into a death trap. In order to make this activity more viable, we reduce the time it takes to activate the exit dungeon ability from 30 seconds to 7 seconds. That's just crazy. I'm not sure if that's a 7-second cast, or if you have to be out of combat for a certain amount of time, or whatever, or if it is legitimately just it takes 7 seconds to channel. If so, that's so strong. Dungeon farming is going to be just ridiculously over like so strong now for every group, which is nice. Smaller groups can go in and contest and compete now, which is pretty decent. Added auto respawn in GVGs and removed the respawn button unless you find yourself in a situation where auto respawn doesn't work. For example, if you logged out while dead. The point threshold for avoiding GVG region lock on good defense has been raised from 100 points to 150 points remaining. So I didn't actually realise it was 100 points. I actually thought it was already 150 points. I'm pretty sure a lot of people were under the same impressions. So not really a huge change, but still, it's kind of got to be a perfect defense now. Otherwise, you're going to get locked to that zone. One death or anything like that. It's going to be pretty big. Moving into combat balance changes, obviously these are the NDA changes. I'm going to be doing a whole separate video on these, so I'm not going to get into it too much on this. It's already a flipping long video. Oh yeah, I forgot. I was actually looking for the demon then couldn't find it. I'm interested to see what this is going to look like though. Yeah, so looks like there has been a couple more changes. I've been testing out with healers, with the new abilities on the weapons and stuff like that. But like I said, I'm going to do an entire video on that in the next day. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. And I don't... Oh, there is one more thing. Mounts. So mounts have had a change. All mounts now, all horses. Oh wow, what is this? This looks amazing. Well guys, you're seeing it here. I don't imagine too many people have done this so far. This actually looks really cool. Ooh. Anyway, sorry, I got completely distracted then. But this is actually really amazing. This blew my mind a little bit. Yeah, so mounts now, horses now have a 50% speed. Rather than whatever they used to scale to and from, it's now just 50%. So showing you on the horses quickly, I can do that. So yeah, a tier 8 horse has 50% move speed. And a tier 5 one has 50%. So I think it's a buff to tier 5 and a nerf to everything else other than... I think it's a buff to tier 4, tier 5 stays the same, and then everything else gets nerfed down. However, the gallop speeds have stayed the same. What this means is that if you can keep them off gallop, it's going to be easier to gank them, because obviously they're going to be a little bit slower now on the higher tier horses, which Yeah, I can see that. It still means Gallop's relevant if you're just travelling from places and you're not being attacked. Gallop helps. But if you're being attacked, just 50% all through the place, which is pretty cool. Your mount will now despawn if you're attacked by another player while you are temporarily dismounted. So if I have my mount out, I obviously can't do it in here. If I have my mount out and someone attacks me, and I'm not obviously on my mount will just despawn. Like, it won't just sit there, it will just despawn completely. Which is kind of going to put gatherers in a bit of a bad spot. I know a lot of gatherers kind of farm with their mount sat next to them, and for good reason as well. Obviously it's a very smart move, but right now they're going to have to either have real good reactions, or I don't know, I think they're going to be put in a real bad spot with that, because if they get caught off their mounts, that's, if they're overburdened at all, then they're going to be in a real bad spot. Might get to a point where they have to farm on like an armoured horse just to make it a little bit more viable, just because, I mean, if they do it with an armoured horse, at least then it doesn't really matter too much, because they're never going to be overweight on the armoured horse. Obviously it has no carry weight. I think that might just become the thing now. Ability cooldown after forced dismount. So forced dismount, if you're in PvP combat, I'm not sure if it counts for PvE, haven't managed to test it yet, but if you're in PvP combat when you get dismounted, your cooldowns will be on cooldown for 1 second rather than 3. Pretty strong change. I do like the change actually. It just means that you can kind of recover for a lot quicker if you do get knocked down. Wow, has this literally got like a 3-minute timer to it? What's going on? But yeah, and mount cooldown now 30 seconds up from 20, which is super strong. I say strong, it's super annoying. Like, there's no real need for it in my opinion. Just is annoying to sit around and wait for your mount when you get despawned, like knocked off by something. But yeah, guys, like I said, so over the next couple of days I'm going to do a video on essences. I'm going to be doing a video on combat, and then I'll be doing the arena one in a bit later tonight. So like I said, a couple of videos coming out in the next couple of days for the Joseph patch. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Stick around for the channel, like if you do, subscribe if you do, and other than that, thank you for watching, guys. Goodbye.